I'm Claude's adopted son. He needed someone older and wiser, but he got me. Well, you know, Claude was very affectionate with Barbara, but he also loved radio. And I met him when I was working on the air, and I was probably the most outrageous disc jockey in the country in the 60s. They all say that. I never thought that. They all said that. Because I did whatever the hell I wanted to do, and it was unfashionable at the time. And Claude used to write about me in the Billboard magazine. And I kept getting bigger ratings. The management hated me, but the people liked me. And on my tombstone is going to say, nobody likes him but the people. But the management, I've always had an argument with my father, family issues, you know, a lot of therapy, lots of drinking, drugs, and alcohol, all this stuff in my past. But I do miss it. I miss all of those highs. Anyway, this particular time in history, I would like to mention that I became friends with a lot of celebrities, and one of them reminded me as I was appearing at Carnegie Hall to introduce someone. He said to me, you know, Joey, let me give you a few lessons on public speaking. And I said, what should I know? And he said, be brief. So I'll do that. I want to mention that missing in Claude's friendship mention list today were two very good friends, Casey Kasem and Gary Owens, who was on Laugh-In, and they used to play basketball. As a matter of fact, you know, Claude did play basketball. He was very much in shape in those days in the Valley, when he lived in the Valley. And he wanted to be healthy, and he played basketball. Every week the guys got together and they played basketball for a long time. He was a terrific friend and fan of everybody in the business, and we all loved him a lot, and we didn't expect him to go. But the news is he didn't expect to go. And when he left now, we were all very surprised because he left Raleigh with the box jocks, and she doesn't want to do the rest of her life. She got a couple businesses to run. And Claude was the real main writer because that's what he did. He was a great writer. And we all have profited from knowing him in one way or another. Even this church group that knows Barbara, because Barbara was lovely. Barbara was a very talented young lady. She still is. But you know, she used to write famously, I think, for Joyce Brothers, if I got that right. She was a ghostwriter, you know, but
questions and answers.
Questions and
answers. You thought you were getting them.
She's great. She's great. So Barbara had her own talent. Claude wasn't the only talented one in the family. Then we got Andy over here, who you can tell is a teacher because he reads to the public other people's writings. However, he's known for slam, which is to get up there and do your own poetry. It's a very, very cool thing with millennials, and he weathered that storm. You know, and going out in clubs, which is almost thankless, there's no money in it. But he's been such a great guy. And, you know, coming here to see the boys, to see John, who is a lawyer, accomplished lawyer, very, very brilliant guy, and an honest person. He won't say that about himself, I will. And Andy, who's become and found his own way, and Daryl, of course, who I'd like to see him be here because he's such a spirited young man and independent. Because Barbara raised 3 independent boys, and she raised Claude, which a lot of people don't talk about. You know, the first thing that Claude did that I know of was he started these conventions for radio so that we made it a way of life, where radio people who are disc jockeys, essentially, and record people who are promoting music, essentially, were married. See, we wouldn't have a lot of these celebrities if it were not for that marriage. But we don't think about the history anymore because we're so separated by our technology. The technology is a strange animal. What puts us together separates us. We have become isolation booths at the same time we communicate. We don't know which way to go. But we have a society that came about with music and celebrities because of radio. And if radio didn't have the music, it wouldn't be popular because we'd be listening to soap operas. which you didn't need to do anymore. And if we didn't have all these foolish politicians, you wouldn't have talk shows. And you know, the politicians play into the game. It's all just a soap opera, the whole damn thing. I mean, I hope you don't think Rush Limbaugh is real. This is a guy who is an entertainer. But see, we've turned the news into entertainment, and we've turned news into editorial. It used to be what, where, when, why, and how. You would ask somebody before you put something on the air. Now it's just, what do you think of this? And you know, what's your take? And how do you feel about that? You know, all of a sudden we're in the feelings business. And people do that, and we call it news. And it's not news at all. I mean, the latest news is probably just someone's idea of what they like or don't like. That's that road. Now that's what replaced the music and the radio music relationship. Now, from that relationship, you'll see Cher is here. Cher is appearing here at the Mandalay Bay, I think. Every one of these celebrities came from radio. It wouldn't be anywhere. You wouldn't have any of this if you didn't have the disc jockeys and you didn't have the marriage. Now radio and records had a divorce. Have you noticed? And so now we're into the urban culture where everybody dresses like they're going to prison. And, many ought to. And then we have this little culture that wants to be black, and the black want to be white, and the white want to be Indians, and the Indians want the casinos. My idea was to give the black people the toll booths. And in giving them the toll booths, we now have gone robotic. So there's nobody in the toll booths anymore. They don't even have that job availability anymore. It's all different. Everything is upside down, different. We got a president that's like Morton Downey Jr., you know. And it's unbelievable how we have all of these things going on in a country that's looking for its identity. And the identity has been separated by all of us having this common meeting place. That used to be Billboard for us and Claude Hall. So my point and what I'm getting around to is that family was headed by Claude, and another time by Raleigh Morgenstein. She was the editor also for Billboard magazine, and a bunch of other things she's done in her life. But to celebrate him, the first two things you ask when you come to one of these things is, where's the shrimp, and is there a band? No, we didn't have any shrimp today, Richard, and ain't no band, so I'm leaving. Here. All right, I want to bring Tom Campbell up here. I want to say that, Claude, I love you, I miss you, of course, and we all are here to celebrate a man who was really very modest. I would like to mention one other thing before I get off this thing here. My favorite time with Claude and his family, and he was very good friends with Bobby V, and that family and Claude's family were close. It's a shame we don't have Bobby here tonight. And I'm a should write that, because his career wouldn't be anything. He would work on the railroad if it weren't for Claude Hall and Jack Thayer. So, I mean, you know, those of us who live long enough know the story. And why wouldn't he write a note? He ought to have his tired ass here. But, you know, the thing is that we need to know about this guy, Claude Hall. And my favorite time with him was when we went camping at Joshua Tree. And I tried to convince him to smoke marijuana. I told him it was herbal, like everything else here. Like the cactus. And he was building a campfire. He had this Volkswagen bus that only the Grateful Dead would drive. And yet he had all the makings for everything that I wanted him to do, except he wouldn't take a toke of the weed. And I keep thinking, if he had taken that, he would still be here. But that's my thing. Anyway, with closing, I want to say my daughter I just visited her in California. She's growing medical marijuana. And I've been sober for a number of years now. Claude and I got sober together. Barbara initiated it, and that's what I wanted to mention here. Barbara Hall was belonging to the Bel Air Presbyterian Church, which was a church on the hill that saved everybody during the Malibu fires, if you recall. And the church remained. It was a little chapel-like thing. Matter of fact, a few years later, Ronald Reagan joined us, And Nancy used to drive the station wagon when he was between jobs. He wasn't governor anymore, and he wasn't president, or nothing. But he loved broadcasting because he was a broadcaster. Ronald Reagan used to come to Harry O'Connor's studio and record with Howard Jarvis every Saturday. So we all were friends. You know, it's all broadcast stuff. This all comes from the Howard Jarvis thing and the Ronald Reagan thing and the Joey Reynolds thing. It all comes from Claude Hall. I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for Claude, because he made me famous when I needed a boost, because they would have fired me, and he kept me in the spotlight. So that made me important, because people are, for the most part, chicken shit. You know, and they don't want to do what they know is right because they walk in fear. And you know what fear spells: false evidence assumed real. And many times it's just shadow boxing. It's just a joke to be living in. We should never live in fear. Even Roosevelt said that when he was president. So anyway, back to this. Barbara Hall and Claude Hall and this family have been so much a part of everybody's lives, directly or indirectly, without asking for anything from anybody, ever.
Absolutely.
Never asked for, they have true humility. And Claude has true humility, he really does. He could be stubborn, but he was humble. And honest. Qualities. Remember those qualities? Things you want your kids to be and that you're maybe not yourself. Hypocrisy. I'm guilty of it myself. So anyway, on this note, Barbara came to me one day and said, Claude had made a bathtub of beer. And he's been making homemade beer, and he almost drove Andy off the cliff on Mulholland Drive. You ought to take him to one of your AA meetings or something. You got to do something. Get sober. Take him to church. I said, oh my God, I'll go back to drinking in about 10 minutes. So what Barbara didn't know was I had a bigger drinking problem than Claude had. So we both wound up going to meetings and getting sober together. It would now be, Claude died on my birthday, July 7th, ironically. And it's 40 years of sobriety. Thanks to this lady here. Now the next part of it is that we used to go to someone's house because the person who took us in, Dennis Fitzpatrick, happened to be in his room. Or Dennis F, as we call him in the anonymous group. He had a meeting in his house every Tuesday night, and we had some folding chairs because he had the insight to, first of all, not allow smoking, which was very popular at AA meetings, not allow sugar. He thought it was related to an addiction, caffeine, which is always a pot of coffee at every AA meeting. And he said, okay, you come to my house, I'll do this, and you're going to follow this format of the 12 steps, traditions, and concept of world service, which he wrote every week and demanded, if he was going to sponsor us, to write his homework, the homework on his sheets. So we had a very solid program, that's what I'm getting at. And it was several years of that every week. And Claude, Barbara, my wife, we all went. Kids went. We were graced with sobriety. And the man who was responsible for that part is right here. And I would like to introduce him. And I'd like him to say a few words. Dennis Fitzpatrick.
My name is Dennis Fitzpatrick, and I was about to say the rest, but I won't. It's not an AA meeting. I met Claude when he was 45 years old. And I met Joy about the same time. And it was, Claude did not take too quickly to the ideas I was talking about. Sobriety, but he struggled with it, and then he got it, and he really got it. He got a hold of it, and it wasn't too long before he was clean, sober, and working on all cylinders. And the proudest thing I have to say about Claude Hall is that he died sober. Out of 39 years of recovery. And we'll never know all the people who helped along the way because they are anonymous. And Claude wouldn't talk about it or brag about it, but I know he influenced many people to a better way of living, free of alcohol and substance abuse. And of course, a family cannot survive when there's an active addiction in the family. It will tear the family apart. So this is not a matter of being good. This was a matter of survival. And one person who I think was a great instigator of Claude's sobriety was Barbara. And Barbara didn't need to come to the meetings, but she did. She showed an interest in the principles of AA and what was being talked about there, so much so that she attended with Claude, which I think in turn affected the family, because the whole family is an outstanding, sober group of people that it's a pleasure to be around. Thank you, Shelley.